Hello kiddos, good morning. Okay, today we are going to study decimals and its place value. Okay, so with decimals and place value we are also going to cover decimals and your calculator. Okay, this is what we are going to study in our today's session. Yeah, sure. Before we start the session, I just want you to tell 2 points. Okay, decimals. Two important points which you have to remember whenever you are doing decimals is that the first point, when dividing the decimal, always shifts towards left side. Okay, this only happens in division. Okay, now the second point is when multiplying the decimal, always shifts towards right side. Okay, this happens in multiplication. We already finished our division part, so we know how it works in division. Okay, but in we did not do any decimal problems with multiplication, so we are going to see how it works with multiplication. Okay, so yeah, these are the two important points which you have to remember. Yeah, clear? Now back to our topic. What are we doing today? Decimal and place value, right? In our last session we studied about place values. Okay, but today we are going to study in depth, right? So let's just take an example of 324.842. yeah, so which one is the whole number and which one is the decimal number? These three digits are the whole number. The digits which are after the decimal point are decimal numbers. Okay, if you have to write this number with place values, how do you write that? It's simple. First write your numbers. 324.842. I'm making a grid here. Okay, what is the place value of 4? It is tens. 2 hundreds. 3 is thousands, right? The same way, what is the place value of 8? It is tenths, which is 1 by 10. And what is the place value of 4? It is hundredths. It is written as 1 by 100. And for 2 it is thousandths, and it will be 1 by 1000. For this, since we have 8 in tens place, it will be 8 by 10. Since we have 4 in hundreds place, it will be 4 by 100. And in thousands place, it will be written as 2 by 1000. Got it? So let's just look at the example problem, what he explained. So yeah, here the number 384.615 written with column headings is, see, the number they have taken is 384.615, right? So 4 comes in units place. Units place is nothing but ones place. Both are same, units or ones. Okay, do not get confused in that. And 8 is in tens place. 3 is in hundreds place. And if you look at the decimal place values, 6 is at 1 by 10, 1 is at 1 by 100, 5 is at 1 by 1000. Yeah, clear? Now let's look at the example 7. So what is the question given here? Give the value of each underlined digit. Okay, so we have questions like 0.27, 6.134, 28.1. Okay, what do we have to do here? We need to write the place value of that digit. So let's get started. So what is the first question we have? 0.27, in which 2 is underlined. So what is the place value of 2? This is in decimals place, right? So if this is in decimals place, the first number in decimals place is tens place, right? So how many tens do we have here? 2 tens. Tens place is always written as 1 by 10. Since we have 2 in tens place, then it will be 2 by 10. So our answer can be 2 tenths or 2 by 10, or what is the value of 2 by 10 in decimal form? Yeah, that's right, 0.2. Okay, so what is the value for this underlined digit? It is either 2 tenths or 2 by 10 or 0.2. Understood? Good. Now, second one, 6.134. 4 is underlined here. Now you tell me, what is the place value of 4? Right, thousands. Thousands place. Yeah. So, and what is the number we see here? It is 4. That's right. So how do we write thousands place? It is 1 by 1000. Since it is 4, it will be written as 4 by 1000. Okay. Now tell me, what is the answer for this? It can be 4 thousands or 4 by 1000, or what is the decimal value of 4 by 1000? It is easy, right? Since we have 3 zeros in the denominator, the point shifts before 3 digits. Yeah, so the answer is 0.004. Yeah, clear? Understood? Good. Now let's do example 8. What is the question? Write these numbers in order of size, smallest first. Yeah, so let's just write that question. So what are we doing here? We are writing in the order of smallest to greatest. Okay, so what are the numbers given? 6.3, 6.304, 6.24, 6.242, 6.2, 6.34. These are the decimal numbers given. How many digits we have in decimals here? 1, 2, 3. That is the maximum, right? Yeah, do we have anything more than 3 digits? No, right? The maximum is 3. So let's just write this in a proper order. 6.3, 6.304, 6.24, 6.242, 6.2, 6.34. So if when you're writing these numbers, try to write the decimals with the maximum of 3 digits. Yeah, so if this is 6.3, we have only 1 digit here. You must be asking, we have only 1 digit, how to write 3 digits here? So it's simple. When you have only 1 digit, the other digits can be 0. Okay, so how can you write 6.3 with 3 digits, 3 decimal places? It is 6.300. That's right. Okay, for 6.304, we don't have to do anything because we have 3 digits in here. So 6.304, then 6.24. What will be our third number? It is, yeah, right, 0. Next, 6.242. This is 6.2 with 2 zeros. And then 6.340. Understood? You don't have to write any extra number. All you need to add are zeros. That's it. Nothing else. Okay, you are not changing anything. You're not changing the value of the number. Even if it's 6.3 or 6.300, it's still the same. Yeah? Now, look at these numbers and try to write them in ascending order. Okay, what order is he asking here? Smallest first. That means smallest to greatest. That is ascending order. So what is the smallest of all these numbers? 6.2. That's right. This is 1. First is 6.2 and the next one is 6.24, which is this. You need to write the original numbers, not these numbers, okay? Next one is 6.24. Next it is 6.242. What is the next number? 6.3, that's right. Then it is 6.304. Then the last one is 6.34. Got it? Understood? Now, this is how you need to find out the numbers, which one is the smallest and which one is the greatest. Okay, so we are done with example problems now. Let's just check what do we have in the next page. Okay, we have an exercise. So we are going to start with an exercise. So what is the first question we have here? Give the value of each underlined digit. I explain you with examples, right? So I think you can do this on your own. This is very easy. Let me just explain you two problems from here. Which one you want me to explain? A and G? That would be good? Okay. Now, from first bit A, 13.3, 1 is underlined. Yeah, what is the place value of 1 here? This is the whole number. 13 is the whole number. So if 3 is in units place or ones place, 1 is in tens place, right? How many tens do we see here? It's just 1, right? So the answer is 1 tens or what? 10 or can we write this in a fraction form? No, right? So the answer is 1 tens or 10. That's it. Now, what is the next question? G, 11.804. The underlined digit is 0. Okay, do we have any value for 0? We do not, right? But the place value of 0 is, that's right, hundreds. Yeah? So you simply write the answer for the 0 is 0 hundreds. Yeah? That's it. Okay? Now, can you take all the other problems as homework? So I think you can solve these problems. Okay, if you have any doubts, anyways, I'm here, right? To clarify all your doubts. Next, what is the second bit? Write these numbers in order of size, smallest first. We did this, right? Did we not? Okay, I'll explain one of these problems. Which one you want me to explain? One? I mean A. Okay, let's take 2A. 0.3, 0.02, 0.4, 0.006. Yeah? So first, we just write them in proper order. 0.3, 0.02, 0.4, 0.006. Okay. One thing you need to know is that if a decimal is in tens value, that is greater than the hundreds value, that is greater than the thousands value. So yeah, what is the maximum of digits we have in decimals place? 3, right? So it's the same process again. So you need to write 3 digits in all the numbers in the decimals place. So 0.300, 0.020, 0.400, 0.006. Now you tell me which one is the smallest of all. That's right. This one is the least number. This one is the smallest number, which is 0.006. And then which one? Right, 0.02. Then what are the numbers which are left? 0.3 and 0.4. So after 0.02 comes 0.3, then 0.4. That's it. Isn't this easy? I know my students are like smart students, okay? So I know you can rock it. well, the remaining two problems you can take it as homework, okay? B and C from second bit, okay? Now, coming to third bit. Write down four numbers that lie between 3.14 and 3.15. Okay, let's do this. So what is the question we have? It's 3a, 3.14 and 3.15. So we need to write four numbers which comes in between 3.14 and 3.15. So what are the numbers we have in between 3.14 and 3.15? 3.141, 3.142, 3.143, 3.144, 3.145, so on till 3.149. Then after 3.149 comes 3.15. Understood? See, you do not have to worry anything when questions are asked like this. If it's asking write the numbers in between 3.14 and 3.15, you must be thinking after 3.14 comes 3.15. No, we also have 3-digit decimals in between. It is just 2-digit, right? So all you need to do is just write 3-digit decimals which comes with 3.14. It is 3.141, 3.142, 3.143, 3.144, so on till 3.149. Then comes the 3.15. Understood? Good. Now, what is the B? 0.68 and 0.69. Same like this question. Okay. So, what is the first number? Yes, exactly. 0.681. Then 0.682. 0.689. 0.683. 0.684. 0.685, 0.686, 0.687, 0.688, 0.689, 0.69. Understood? So how many numbers do we have in between 0.68 and 0.69? Total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, total 10 numbers. Total 9 numbers we have in between, excluding this, because this is the number, right? So excluding this, we have 9 total numbers in between 0.68 and 0.69. Yeah, understanding? Good. Now, what is the fourth question? The batting averages of 5 international batsmen are shown in the table. Okay, so Khalis is 54.66, Tendulkar 54.72, Gambhir is 56, Hussain is 53.04, Ponting is 55.67. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing these names in a wrong way, because I don't know many of these batsmen except Tendulkar, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, because he's Sachin Tendulkar, right? So I only know Sachin Tendulkar. Except this guy, I do not know the other 4 batsmen. So if I'm pronouncing their names in a wrong way, please do forgive me. Okay. Now, what do you have to do with this table? You guessed it right. You have to put them in proper order, starting with the highest average. Okay, here there is a twist. You do not have to start from the smallest number. You need to start from the highest number to the smallest number. So I think you know what to do with this, right? So take this as homework, work this out. Okay, you will get the answer. I know. Now, what is the fifth question? Write these numbers in order of size, smallest first. Okay, these are like the similar problems. Okay, please try to solve them. Next, what is the sixth question? Write these numbers in order of size, largest first. It is nothing but the same type, but you have to write in an ascending order. Here you need to write the numbers in descending order. Okay, these are descending order because largest first. So your numbers will be decreasing, right? So that is why it is descending order. And in fifth question, it is the numbers you need to start are with smallest number, right? So that is why it is ascending order. Clear? Good. So yeah, after that we have decimals and money. Okay, so it is decimals and money. Okay, now what if I have 20 rupees and 45 paise? Okay, I'm explaining Indian currency here. Okay, try to understand Indian currency first, then I'll also explain you the dollars. Okay, so I have 20 rupees with me, 20 rupees and 45 paise with me. So you tell me, 1 rupee has how many paise? It is 100 paise, right? Which can be 50 paise and 50 paise. 50 and 50 gives us 100. 1 rupee has 100 paise. Okay, this generation kids might not know paise. It is similar to cents. Like how we have in $1, we have 100 cents. Right? In the same way, 1 rupee has 100 paise. So this paise is nothing but cents. Clear? So now if I have to write 20 rupees 45 paise in decimal form, how do I write that? It will be 20.45 rupees. Understood? Because paise will go in decimals and 20 will be the whole number, because 20 is the rupees and 45 is the paise. Now the same thing if I'm taking with dollars. I have $15 and 22 cents. How do I write this? I'm sorry, $15 and 22 cents. How do I write this? $15.22. Let's just take an example of $60 and 25 cents. How to write this? $60.25. That's right. Let's just read this. Money is written using decimals. For example, $2.25 is written as $2.25. 35 cents is written as 0.39 because it is cents. We do not have any dollars in here. That is why the dollars place will be 0. 39 will always go into the decimals place value. Okay, so that is why it is 0.39. Now we have $3.07 and that will be written as 3.07 cents. Must be wondering, why is it not $3.7, right? It cannot be $3.7 because 7 is what? One digit. If in cents, if you have only one digit, if it's like 6 cents, 7 cents, 8 cents, then there should be 3.0 and then the single cent digit. Okay, if they are telling you $2.05, then it goes like $2.05. It will not be $2.5. $2.5 means what? It will be $2.50, because after 5 there is the chance of having a 0. Okay, that is why 2.5 can be 50 cents. Okay, $2.50. The same way, take it in terms of kgs. If I have 1.5 kg, what does this mean? I have 1 kg and half kg. 1 kg has how many grams? It is 1000 grams, which can be 500 and 500. 500 plus 500 gives us 1000 grams, which is nothing but 1 kg, right? So only if I consider half of the 1000, that will be nothing but half kg. So this half kg is nothing but 1.5 kg. Yeah, 1.5 kg means what? 0.5 will be the half kg and 1 is like the complete 1 kg. Yeah, If I have to write only half kg, how do I write that? It is 0.5 kg. Clear? Good. Let me read this, you'll understand it clearly. We usually don't write zeros at the end of decimals. Okay, 1.2 means 1/10 and 2/10. Okay, this can be written as 1.20 as there are no hundreds. When you are talking about money, you need to have two numbers after the decimal point. An answer of $1.20 on a calculator will be 1.2, but you must write it as $1.20, not 1.2. Do you get this? Good job. So for currency, when you have cents in two digits, okay, if it's 20 cents or 30 cents or 45 cents, you always write in terms of 0.20 or 0.30 or 0.45. Okay, but you never write this like 0.2 or 0.3. Okay, you never do this. Understood? In money, you always need to mention if it is 20 cents, then it is 20 cents. If it is $1.20, it has to be written in a way $1.20. You cannot exclude the zero. It has to be there. Okay. This is how you write the currency. Okay. Now we have exercise problems here. So what exercise we have? Exercise 1J. Okay, what is the first question? How many cents are there in a dollar? That's easy. How many cents do we have in a dollar? Now let's just start with the exercise problems. Exercise 1J. What is the first question here? How many cents are there in a dollar? Is this not easy? Okay, tell me. How many cents do we have in a dollar? 100 cents, right? Yeah. Now, write 1 cent as fraction of $1. How do you write that 1 cent as a fraction of $1? In a dollar, how many cents do we have? 100 cents. Okay, out of those 100 cents, we need to mention 1 cent in a fraction form. So, let's just take 1 cent. How do you indicate this 1 cent in decimal form? First, you need to convert this into a decimal form. Then only you can write that into a fraction form. Okay, 1 cent will be written as $0.01. Understood? I told you, if you have cents in only one digit, it will go in the place value of hundredth place value. Okay, so it is written as 0.01. So what is the fraction for 0.01? What is the fraction for 0.01? After decimal, how many digits do we have here? 2 digits, right? So it will be 1/100. Got it? If you have 2 digits, then it will be, the denominator will be having 2 zeros. If it is 3 digits, what if the number was 0.001? It would have been 1/1000. Since after decimal we have 3 digits, in the denominator of a fraction, there should be 3 zeros. Got it? Yeah. But this will not come when we are doing the currency, because we only have 1 cent, 1 digit or 2 digits, not more than that, right? So yeah, this is just a normal basic example. Now write this fraction as a decimal. Okay, we already did that. We got 1/100, and for 1/100 the fraction is 0.01. Yeah, that's it. Now second bit, write 15 cents as a fraction of $1. Now how to write 15 cents? Next question is 15 cents. How do you write 15 cents in the fraction form? It will be 15/100. Understood? Why is it 15/100? If you convert this 15/100, it gives you $0.15, right? Now it is clear. $0.15 is nothing but how many cents do we have here? 15 cents. The decimal value is 15. So that is why it is 15 cents. You have 2 digits, that means the denominator will be 100. Clear? Next, write the fraction as a decimal. Simple. It is $0.15. Okay. Now, write in dollars using the decimal points. I think you can do this on your own, right? $1.10. How do you write that? Let me just do first two problems. Then the rest of all will be your homework. What is 3A? It is $1.10. Right? How do I write $1.10? $1.10. That's it. Now, what is B? 25 cents. So that goes like, they are only talking about cents here. We do not have any dollars. So in the place of a whole number, it will be 0. Since we do not have any dollars, it will be $0.25. Okay. Then we have $3.55. You know the value for this. So these are easy. Okay, you can do this. Good job. Now, decimals and your calculator. Just give it a read. What is this exactly about? Decimal calculations are done very easily on a calculator. Okay, I'll tell you the easiest trick to solve these problems without a calculator. Okay, I don't think you need a calculator to solve these problems. Okay, chalo, let's do this exercise 1K. What is the first question we have here? Use your calculator to work out. So please do not use your calculator to work out. You don't have to use your calculator for this. Trust me, okay? Seriously, trust me. This is not at all tough. I'll explain you the easiest way of solving this. What is the first question we have? 1A is 10 times 8.4. You remember at the beginning of the session, I gave you 2 sentences to remember. Okay, I told you those are the 2 important things which you have to remember when you are solving decimals. What are those 2 statements I gave you? Yeah, this. What is it? When dividing, the decimal always shifts to its left side in division. Yeah, when multiplying, the decimal always shifts to its right side in multiplication. So you remember this? So what are we doing now? We are multiplying a number with a decimal. So remember this. When multiplying, the decimal always shifts to its right side. Yeah? So, the question we have here is 10 times 8.4. Let me just write that statement here so that it will be visible to you throughout. The decimal shifts towards right side in multiplication. Yeah, okay. So now we are multiplying 10 with 8.4. Okay, and in 10 how many zeros do we see here? 1 0. It is same as division, how we compare the zeros and the decimal to shift. It's the same way. Okay, we see the number of zeros and then we shift the decimal to the left or to the right. In division, what do we do? We shift the decimal left side, but in multiplication we shift the decimal to the right hand side. That's right. So in 10 how many zeros we have? 1 0. So since we have only 1 0 here, the decimal which is in between 8 and 4, the decimal will shift to its right side. Yes, that's right. The answer for 10 times 8.4 is 84, because it shifts after 4, then it is just 84. We do not have any number after decimal. That is why we just simply take 84 without a decimal. Clear? Let me explain one more example, then you will understand. 10 times 1.07. Now even here, how many zeros we have? Only 1 0, right? So the decimal will shift only after 1 digit to its right side. So the answer will be 10.7. Understood? If not, we have so many problems here. Okay, I can explain it to you. Now see, 10 times 6.045. Now I want you guys to tell me what is the answer for this. Since we have only 1 0, the decimal shifts after 1 digit to its right hand side, not left. In division it is left, in multiplication it is to the right hand side. Okay, so what will be our answer here? 60.45. Exactly, that's right. You are getting it. I'm happy. Okay, now let's just do D question. It is 100 times 8.4. Now, what is the difference in the questions we were doing before and the question what we are doing now? Is just the number of zeros has been increased, right? So we have 2 zeros over here. So the decimal will shift to its right side after 2 digits. After decimal, we only have 4, which is 1 digit, right? So what do we take the second digit as? Simple, 0. So the answer will be 84. What? Is this 84? 840.0. The decimal has to shift after 2 numbers. Since we have only 1 digit here, we'll add a 0 to it. So when the decimal is shifting here, that gives us 840. It will be just written as 840. You don't have to write 0.0. 840.0 and 840 both are same. Okay, there's no difference in this. Now, question E. 100 times 1.07. Here, how many zeros we have? 2 again. So, we need to shift our decimal after 2 digits. So, that will give us 107. Okay, let me just explain you one problem with 1000. I'm explaining you I question. It is 1000 times 6.045. So how many zeros we have here? 3 zeros. So the decimal will shift after 3 digits. Yeah. So the answer will be 6045. Is it easy? Do you think that you need to use calculator to solve these problems? I don't think so. Did you understand the concept of solving a decimal multiplication? If yes, that's really good. Okay. So this is the easiest method, you know. This will be done quick than your calculator. In calculator, you need to type and then find the answer. But when you're just looking at the question, you know, okay, if there is 1 0, the decimal only shifts after 1 digit. If there are 2 zeros, the decimal will only shift after 2 digits. If there are 3 zeros, then the decimal will only shift after 3 digits. That's it, simple. You will get your answer in seconds here. Okay, when compared to calculator, I'm telling you, you will be faster than calculator if you are solving this way. Okay, what is the next question? What happens when you multiply by 10, 100 or 1000? What is happening? It depends on the zeros. Okay, and based on your zeros, the decimal gets shifted to its right hand side. If there is 1 0, then it shifts after 1 digit. If there are 2 zeros, then after 2 digits. If there are 3 zeros, the decimal will shift after 3 digits to its right hand side. That's it. Now, what is the third question? Use your calculator to work out again. So here, what do we have? Divisions. Okay, we already did these problems. I'll explain you one problem. The rest all problems you have to do it as homework. Okay. So what is the question? First question, 3a. It is 7.6 divided by 10. Right? So in division, what happens? If there is 1 0, the decimal point shifts before 1 digit to its left hand side. So the answer we get here is what? 0.76. Right? Now let me just explain you one more question. Let's just take D. We have 523 divided by 10. So since there is 1 0, the decimal will be here because this is the whole number. So the decimal will be on the right side, extreme right side. So since we have only 1 0, the decimal will shift before 1 digit to its left hand side. So the answer will be 52.3. Yeah, that's good. You're getting it. Now, what is the fourth bit? Use your calculator to work out. So these problems are again, it is in terms of, so what is the difference here? It is 10, it is 100. So when you have 2 zeros, the decimal will shift to its left hand side after 2 digits. Okay. Now, fifth question. Here it is divided by 1000. So how many zeros do we have here? 3 zeros, right? So the decimal will shift before 3 digits. So since we have only one number before the decimal, the other two numbers we will be adding are zeros. That's it, simple. Okay, we did this problem. So if you remember, we did this problems in our division. Yeah, good. Now what is sixth question? What happens when you divide by 10, 100 or 1000? Here the question he asked is what happens when you multiply by 10, 100 or 1000. Here the question is what happens when you divide by 10, 100 or 1000. In multiplication, the decimal shifts to its right hand side with the number of zeros you have in the denominator. Okay, it relates with the number of zeros we have in the denominator. If there is 1 0, it shifts only after one digit. If you have 2 zeros, it only shifts after 2 digits. If there are 3 zeros, it only shifts after 3 digits towards right hand side. But in division, what happens if the number is getting divided by 10, the decimal will shift before the digit. If there is 1 0, the decimal will shift before one digit to its left hand side. Okay, if there are 2 zeros, the decimal will shift before 2 digits to its left hand side. If there are 3 zeros, the decimal will shift before 3 digits to its left hand side. Understood? Just be clear with this one thing, that in multiplication the decimal will shift to its right hand side. In division, the decimal will shift to its left hand side. In multiplication it is right hand side, in division it is left hand side. Okay, that's it, simple. Now what do we have here? Do these multiplications without using a calculator. Okay, yeah, anyways, okay, first thing he lured you with calculator. Now we do not have any calculator. So yeah, see, do these multiplications without using a calculator. How do we solve this? The trick which I told you, all you have to do is just apply that here. Okay, I told you, I have repeated that so many times. By now it might have registered in your brain. Okay, it might have fixed in your brain like anything. Okay, so just all you have to do is concentrate on how many zeros you have when you are multiplying, and you need to check if it's a division or multiplication. If it's a division, then the decimal will shift towards what? Left hand side. If it's a multiplication, the decimal will shift towards right hand side. Okay, division it is left, for multiplication it is right. Yeah, that's it, simple. So yes, kiddos, we are done with decimals. Finally, we are done with all these three topics. One was decimals, the other one was decimals and place value, and the third one was decimals and your calculator. So without using calculator, we finished this exercise. So yeah, finally we are done with this session. We are done with decimals part. Doesn't mean that we do not have any decimals in the further topics. We do. Okay, our next topic for our next session is multiplying and dividing decimals by powers of 10. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to study this. Then we have some more topics. After we finish that, we'll be done with this chapter. Okay, then see you in our next session. Take care. Bye bye.